Hello, my name is Sean French, and I'm going to walk you through my revisions. So, starting with draft 1.2, my most final submission did not have a real title. It just said draft 1.2. So I decided to change that to creativity within music production because it more accurately describes the content within it. So if we scroll down, I made a few changes to some of the summaries, I'll call them, because they were supposed to be analysis. I added a little more, just saying here I kind of, hindsight is 2020, so I was able to use what was in my final draft and incorporate it into this. So after further analyzing the Ballantine article, I discussed why it would benefit my work well, and because it did not hinder creativity and actually supported that, and why it was relevant. Again, with the Dobson, in her content, I talked about how adding the statistical information of watching two collegiate students experience this phenomenon will help support my work. And then lastly, I edited some things in the order, and just to make that one also be less summarization and have it more analytical. Okay, so moving on to draft 2.3, one of the major changes was that I changed the way the columns were working inside the other paper, because it was something I had played around with at first and then I didn't like it, and then after turning it in I regretted it, because this really shows why it is a magazine article. So some of the major changes here, I changed my works cited and I put in the hanging indent, and I also edited some of the captions on the images. So here I made sure to line up the picture with the column, so that way when it talks about schizophrenia and the separation from it, it shows another girl here experiencing that, which I thought was really, really helpful. And then for the reflection of this, I also relocated some of the endings because I thought it was too short. I separated this last sentence as a way of closing it off, and I moved one of the other paragraphs and moved it around, because I find a lot of writing, after you construct a bunch of paragraphs, it's really just one big puzzle, and sometimes when it's done, it's not quite done and needed some changes. And also just some basic MLA stuff, adding my last name in the header and stuff, just to add to the page numbers and stuff in the works cited. So after that, finally, we have my very final draft, which I felt did not need a lot of changes. I added some periods and fixed some things within the ends of the quotes, but I liked the amount of quotes I used, and I thought it wasn't too much, and I found a good balance, and my peers had a lot of good stuff to say, and they helped me kind of work through that. So I just did more MLA editing. My captions or my citations were fine, but I had to add some stuff like changing the date, and then I also changed the title to variable, because I felt it better suited the material than saying mobile, because that's not all it was about. And that was a little derivative of my previous assignment, which focused on only mobile music.